What's happening? Okay, welcome, beloveds, and welcome, Chelsea.
Hi.
Chelsea's calling. Yeah, nice to meet you too. I'm so excited we met. So you're in New York right now, and just to give people a quick introduction. So you're a style, fashion, interior design enthusiast, spiritually very skeptical until very recently. And then you had some major, what some might call dark night of the soul, perhaps. And then you opened up to mystical transmissions, let's just call it that. And then you started channeling Jesus, and now we're 12 dimensional beings.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hear your story, Chelsea. I'm so excited. Maybe you should start by explaining to us what are 12D beings. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah. So, when I asked my guides, when I first started channeling, who are you? They gave me a bit of a spiel about who they are, and they said that they're from the 12th dimension. And I, at the time, didn't know what that was. I didn't know much about the dimensions, so it was also new to me. And, from the 12th dimension, it's a really high vantage point. We're currently in the 3D, the third dimension. And so from where they sit, it's very much this place of, just perfection, divine perfection, non-dual thinking. And it's really, they tell me that they're aligned with the energy, the frequency of Christ consciousness. They're very, aligned with values of unity and compassion. And they're here to raise our frequency collectively as a human race to closer to that Christ consciousness. I see my friend Jemiah. Hi, Jemiah.
Hi, Jemiah. Yeah, okay. And so how does that feel for you when you connect to that frequency? I imagine like being in what they call 3D, what we're in. These are heavy earth-based dense frequencies here, like connecting to such high non-dual frequencies. Like, how does that feel in your body? And is that difficult at all?
Yeah, it feels, while it's happening, it feels really good, and it feels very energizing and loving and sacred, really. But, afterwards, I tend to have I'll often be very buzzy afterwards. Sometimes it really spikes my energy, and often there's a crash afterwards. So I'm really learning my boundaries energetically with how often I can hold that frequency, and trying to train the body to hold it for longer, because it is hard for the body to hold that, because it almost feels sometimes like I'm being electrocuted, but not in a bad way. It's like this buzzing, really intense, but powerful and beautiful, holy energy moving through me. So yeah, it's great while it's occurring, and then afterwards there tends to be like a high and then a crash as my body recalibrates again. So
I imagine that your nervous system is really expanding every time you allow these energies to come through, and it's like your body is adjusting to higher and higher frequencies.
Yeah, it's interesting, because whenever I channel now, there's this experience that happens where it's almost this like it's a groaning sound, or it almost sounds like a door creaking open. I actually hate this sound. When I listen to the replays, I'm just like, oh, it's like fingernails on chalkboard to me. But what it is my body is really, it's the fascia of my body like stretching and unwinding, so that the light and that energy can be grounded through my body. So it's almost like the body has to stretch in such an intense way in order for me to be able to ground that high energy.
Wow. And how do you know whether that is Jesus coming through, or I've seen sometimes it was even the Apostle Paul who came through. I know you also said Mary and Magdalene.
Yeah.
Do you sense a difference in their fragrance energetically?
Yeah, definitely. Well, so Jesus, when he comes through, so it's interesting because Jesus and Mary Magdalene or Mary of Nazareth will usually, my arms go out into a position like I'm nailed to a cross before they come through. And, but, the Apostle Paul, it's always, I hear Paul, and I honestly don't know much about Paul. Like, I should probably research him, but I also kind of like not knowing, because it's just like this fun mystery and I can Google it afterwards. But he'll announce himself and he will say like, this is Paul, because he'll first come in and it will be a different energy. Like I like that word fragrance that you use. It's a different essence. And I'll say like, who is this? And then I'll hear Paul. I often have a difficult time discerning between Mary Magdalene and Mary of Nazareth. I think because they're both just a very high frequency divine feminine energy, but they'll sometimes give me symbols or I'll hear a word. Like sometimes Mary of Nazareth my arms will be moved into like a baby rocking position, or I'll feel like I'm holding a baby on my chest. So there's different little like symbols that come through, and also different energies come through for different topics. Like I find that Mary of Nazareth, Mary Magdalene typically comes through to speak on somatics and the importance of the body. Whereas Mary of Nazareth will come in when there's a need for a motherly presence or an analogy about motherhood she'll be using a motherhood analogy to answer a specific question.
Got it. Has Mary of the Magdalene order has she been giving any teachings on like her lineage or on the priestess order of Isis she belonged to so far?
Somebody in one of so I do an event every month called the Jesus Transmissions, where it's a group live Yeshua channeling. And so the last one, I believe somebody asked about her story and why her story has been buried. So she answered that part, but I really just go with whatever people ask me and see what comes through. Because I don't channel for myself very often. It's usually just for other people.
You don't? How come?
I used to in the first year or two that I started doing this, but it's very energetically taxing on my body to do it. And so I feel that this is meant to be a service that I offer for others. So I really just try to conserve my energy to offer it as service to others.
So it sounds like you've been doing this for quite a while. Now, when did this start, the whole journaling?
So it actually hasn't been that long. It's I think it was 2023 that I first started doing somatic channeling, which is the practice that awakened my gift of verbal channeling. Somatic channeling is a healing modality that my sister received through channeling, and now has a robust built a modality around it, has a training program. So her business is somatic channeling. So she taught me this meditative practice, and it's really for nervous system regulation. It's like a mix of somatic therapy, energy work, and spiritual initiation. So I was doing that for about a year, really more for the purpose of trauma work and things like that. And I think it was a year after I was doing that consistently that I channeled for the first time, but it wasn't until about 5 months later that Jesus came through for the first time.
Oh, okay. So let's just backtrack, because you were spiritually very skeptical and you had nothing to do with that, right? You were like, this is my woo sister. Yeah. So what happened there? So your sister's always been very spiritual and you've been very, let's say, in the world more and very skeptical to spiritual things, right? Yes. So what happened? Tell us the whole story.
Well, so I came to somatic channeling because I was in a dark night of the soul and I had a mental health condition called depersonalization, derealization, DPDR for short. And essentially it's nervous system collapse. It's just so many years of unprocessed trauma and entrepreneurship and living in New York, just hustling. And it sort of just all caught up to me, I think. And I was also grieving the death of my father at that time. And yeah, I just went into this horrible state. This condition makes you feel like you're living outside of your body and you're sleepy, you're brain fog, you can't quite function. And it kind of sent me onto this. Became very, very depressed. And I really started to wonder, what is the point of living? It's so sad to think about now, but I didn't want to be here anymore. And I had I saw many therapists and I had every system of the body medically checked to see if there's anything autoimmune or anything like that. Even had an MRI and nothing was wrong with me. So it was so debilitating. I was so desperate. My sister, she had been doing this practice, somatic channeling. She was just getting started, didn't even have a business around it yet. And she was like, I think that this thing I've been doing may actually help you, because every time I do it, I feel very much in my body. And what I was experiencing, DPDR, it's an out of body, it's a dissociative experience. So I was just like, whatever, I'll try it. And I did the meditation that we teach people, and I immediately just felt so much more in my body. My dissociative symptoms went from very severe to hardly noticeable just from this one meditation. So I just kept practicing, really just because it made me feel better and regulated my nervous system. And over time, this evolved into a path of spiritual awakening. I started to have mystical experiences through the practice. I wasn't even sure if I believed in past lives, but I had a past life memory that I just knew was from a past life. I wasn't making it up. I had an experience where it was like a embodiment experience of Ganesh, which is a hint from the Hindu lineage. So I just had all these very interesting experiences that cracked the door open for me to the possibility of, it opened my mind to spiritual questions. And from there, it just kind of started to unfold. One of my sister's friends, who she had taught the somatic channeling practice to a few months prior, became a verbal channel before me. And she channeled a message for me. And the message was basically like, Chelsea, you are a channel. This is your path, and your initiation has begun. Contact us immediately. And I was like, what? And I didn't believe in channelers. I really thought that they were liars and scam artists.
And here you are.
I'm like, oh God, wow, how did I end up here? I don't know. It's so ironic. But yeah, I don't know. I sat down in my somatic channeling practice. I was curious, even though I had no desire to be a channel. But I was, I'm a curious girl. And I just sat down and I was in my trance through somatic channeling. And I was like, hello, what do I do? And I heard a word pop into my brain. And then I tried to get it out of my mind and I couldn't. And then
what was the word?
I don't remember, but I just remember that I always go like this. I feel like it came in from outside of me, even though it's within me. I don't know. Yeah. It felt really random. And I was like, okay, stop. I'm trying to channel here. Get out of my brain. And then I was like, okay, let me try this again. And then the word came in again. And again, I was like, get out of here. And the third time the word came in, it was as if I simply couldn't think of any other word. And for some reason, I just said the word out loud this time. So it was that third time that I just said it. And then the next word came, and the next word, and the next word. And it flowed from there. So, yeah.
Wow. That opened your channel. That's so amazing. And then tell us about the experience of that image that you got when you asked, who are my guides? And you saw this picture of the Last Supper, but a very unusual Last Supper.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I at one point, to be honest, the first few times I channeled, I didn't even think to ask, who is this? I don't know why, but when I finally did, I asked that question, and I received an image of the Last Supper, the table, and Jesus is in the middle, but next to Jesus is an alien, and then a blob of bluish light sitting in a chair, right? How is it? I don't know. It's so funny. I just burned into my brain. And a bunch of Hindu deities with a bunch of arms, a Buddha with a little Buddha hat and the orange robe, and then some apostle-looking characters kind of lingering around. And they were like, we are a group of beings from the 12th dimension, from different star systems and belief systems, but we're all aligned on the mission and the goal of raising humanity closer to love, closer to, Christ-like values. And they're we're similar to we're the UN of the cosmos. So I understand it to be each one of those chairs it's a representative of a lineage or a star system.
Right.
So yeah, it was very interesting.
So almost like the Galactic Federation, perhaps.
Yes.
They're all guiding you. And it seems like they're very much with us. I mean, it just feels like there's this huge collective awakening happening right now that feels like this is not just like a great awakening, what some call like the second coming of Christ. It's also just like a return of the divine feminine. It just feels like it's all connected. It's all happening right now. It feels like everybody can feel it.
What a wild time to be alive. Oh my God.
Yeah. What are they saying about that? Like, have you been asking about this at all?
Yeah. They've said that, this is like could be very controversial to some Christians, but the message that I channeled about it is that the second coming of Christ is not actually Jesus returning to the earth. It's actually a collective awakening of Christ consciousness. So the second coming of Christ is happening through us, through our hearts, through our bodies. And that's why there's been so many people lately that have had encounters with Jesus or Yeshua when maybe they never thought that they would be drawn to that. So yeah, it's and the divine feminine, of course, it's bringing balance to the imbalance of the masculine polarity that's been our predominant paradigm for many, many years. So yeah.
Exactly.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the same what he's been telling me also about the second coming of Christ and the Great Awakening, how it's really happening in each one of us through our hearts, and how Christ really needs our vessels, our hands and feet and eyes and voices, like to return and to bring that collective healing. And I think it's also like you say, the return of the divine feminine to bring balance to that unbalanced masculine that you had seen for millennia now on the earth. And I think that's why also so many people have had visions and visitations of Mother Mary or Mary of Nazareth, because it's like she's way more prominent now also along with Christ.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, definitely. And so many, and Mary Magdalene is like having a moment.
Huge comeback.
Yeah. All three of them in their glow up era. It's great.
So how does that like work out if your passion for fashion design, interiors? Like what happened to that? What you did, like your old life?
She's gone. No, it's still something that I love so much. And I actually, over time, when I first had my spiritual awakening, I resisted it so much because I often felt in spiritual circles, or just, the sort of the stereotype of spiritual communities, I felt like I had to repress that part of myself. There's almost this thread of like renunciation, I think, in some of these places and I just, listen, I am a fancy gal. I like my fancy clothes. Okay. This is who I've been. And when I was 3 years old, my mom always tells a story. She got pulled aside by the teacher at preschool and was like, you can't send Chelsea to school in her velvet party dress and her patent leather Mary Jane. She's in the sandbox. She's getting filthy. And like, so I'm just like, this is like who I am. And I've always been this way. So I just stopped resisting it. And I actually, speaking of Jesus, I was walking in the street and there was this weird experience that I had where I was halfway through a crosswalk and I felt truly as if somebody or something had turned me around to go back to the curb where there was a pile of books. And I'm not a reader, so felt weird. But there is a book sitting on top called The Book of Light, Channeled Messages from Jesus.
Ooh.
And I had not started channeling Jesus yet at this point. So I don't know. It was just so weird that I picked it up. But anyway, long story short, I think 2 weeks later after that, I channeled Jesus for the first time. So it was definitely a divine orchestration. But
wow.
Yeah. But one of this book functions almost like an oracle. So you have these cards and you sort of ask Jesus to select the cards for you and allow, and whatever. So I did this oracle, and the message one day that I got was about your essence and your higher essence. And it said, when you wake up in the morning, ask your essence what she wants. And the pronouns was she. It was like, your divine essence, what she wants to wear today. How does she want to do her hair? Like things like that. And it's like, and by doing this, you will be connecting with the truth and the true essence of who you are and what lights you up or something. So I just love that because it really kind of illustrates where I'm at now with that, where I really just love getting dressed up and I love my clothes. I love nice interiors. And when I go away for a while and I come back, I'm like, oh my God, my babies, my clothes. I miss all these styles. So it's just like, it's always going to be part of me. And it really, truly now feels like a way that I do connect with the true essence of my soul. It does feel like a spiritual act to me. So I think about that message all the time and I get dressed like, what does my higher self want to wear today?
So inspiring.
It's creative. And obviously any form of creativity is such a spiritual experience. We're channeling this divine inspiration. That is how creative works are formed, it flows through us almost. So I think there's an element of that in there as well.
And do you also do that if you completely plan to just stay in all day and do nothing? Or is it only when you go out? Like even like you never just put on a t-shirt or something?
I get dressed pretty much every day. And if I'm not, or if I leave the house in like sweatpants or yoga pants, like check on me. I'm probably not okay.
I get that with sweatpants, like I can never wear sweatpants because I feel like so not beautiful. Like I tried to wear sweatpants for a while and lived in Berlin and I felt like I literally had to take them off because I felt so unsexy. It was just like, I cannot wear this.
And it's like all the young kids, all the young girls who are like teenagers and like at night, I'm like, they all sweatpants and hoodies. It's like their uniform. So interesting. Like I can't. But when I get home at the end of the day, I can't wait to like put my comfies on,
I'm sure they're also very stylish.
You know what it is? Because my college roommate said to me one time, she's like, Chelsea, you're so confusing because you have such great style, but you have horrible loungewear. And I never forgot that. And I've since improved my loungewear.
I wonder what Jesus would say to that. Loungewear upgrade. No, but seriously, like that's the beauty about Jesus, because I think that so many people have this idea that, once you found Jesus, you have to be a certain way and you have to like renounce your old life and whatever you did, like you have to become a certain type of like stereotypical Christian or whatever that even means, but you're certainly not allowed to look pretty anymore or like fancy things, And I think that's my experience with Yeshua also, is that like he's never asked me to abandon anything that I appreciate or care about, whether it's been like, I know like tantric practices I did in the past or like anything. Like he never asked me to cast out anything, like to be able to be with him or follow him,
Absolutely. I think that's such a common misconception in the spiritual space. Like we are designed by God to have these things that light us up and we express in these different ways. And why would we, I don't think that, if you're channeling or connecting with an energy that tells you to do something and doesn't encourage your most authentic free expression and free will, that's something to be cautious of, I think.
Exactly. I mean, I have like a friend, she's like a medicine woman, like she's like a shaman, and she also feels really drawn to Jesus. And then I think something that's been like really difficult for her was like this belief that, but if I really want to follow Jesus, I have to become a Christian and I have to like go to church every day or every Sunday and I have to like read the Bible. And this is like, it's not aligned with her essence, And I just said to her, like, and I just tuned into her and I was sort of like transmitting a message from Jesus to her. It felt like, well, you can go into the jungle and have Christ with you. It's like, he doesn't ask you to sit on a church bench, like if that's not your calling. Like if you want to sit and drink a medicine brew, then Christ will be there with you in the woods, And she was so relieved to hear that, because I think that's what love does. It's like love never coerces you to be anything else than who you are and your holiness as a child of God and your perfection in your essence as you already are. Maybe you love wearing fancy clothes or drinking ayahuasca, and go you know, like Jesus is not going to ask you to abandon yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. It's so true. And I think that so many people do feel this, puts this undue pressure on ourselves. And if you look at Jesus, the apostles, they were, you know, it's not like they were, you know, they were the average person, or it just was not, there's nowhere in Jesus's life or the account that we have for it where he demanded perfection or renunciation. At least not to my knowledge. It's not, but I, you know, what do I don't.
I think so. In the Bible, it says like that you're asked to be perfect, but I think that's really a metaphor for remembering our inherent perfection that is already the Christ side within us, our true essence.
Exactly. That's exactly how I interpret it too. It's like the perfection is, and I think that way about sin too. It's just like forgetting the perfection of our true nature. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that that's what he really wants. But again, honestly, like I don't know much about the Bible. I'm just learning about the Bible. I'm just going off vibes over here. So.
But you're having a real relationship with Christ, and I think that's the most important thing. So that brings me to my next question. Like outside of your channeling, like what is your relationship with Jesus now?
Oh gosh, I love him. So I talk to him a lot in my mind, and I try to drop into the heart when I feel like I want him. I often will kind of call on him when I just feel like I want some comfort and support, and I almost get this like vision of him and angels like surrounding me, and it just brings me a lot of peace and comfort. And it's also just sort of this I view him like a person in my life who provides unconditional love and support and just gives me permission. It's like, it's okay. Like you're growing. And so I feel like I talk to him a lot. I connect with him a lot through the heart, just through my day to day, and especially in times of desiring that comfort, almost like familial comfort. And also in gratitude, I'm just constantly just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I just really just love everything that I've learned from him. And I think that's the other thing I would say, how it weaves into my everyday life is his teachings. I just think about them all the time throughout my day. And they're always so heart-centered. Just like, how can I bring more heart into the little day-to-day things that I'm doing? I remember when I was in like middle school or high school, like WWJD bracelets, what would Jesus do bracelets. And I like think about that all the time. I'm like, what would Jesus do here? What would he do?
Beautiful. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing, Chelsea. If you would be up for it, I would love to invite you to let Jesus come through for a little bit if you're willing.
Yeah, I am definitely, but it may take me a minute to get into the trance. So you'll have to bear with me. And I'm going to change my location.
Okay. So you guys joining us live right now, we can just like take a moment to drop into the heart of Chelsea and just sit in silence as she drops in to open up for Yeshua to come through. So we can also like receive his words more fully in our hearts. And then to those of you catching the replay or listening on the podcast, you can just fast forward if you like. Yeah. And now just give some space to Chelsea to drop in. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Chelsea. Welcome.
At this time, my intention is to open my body, open my vessel to be a conduit for divine transmission, calling in Yeshua and my team of guides aligned with the Christ consciousness to deliver a short transmission for the highest growth and highest healing of the collective that will receive this. My dearest lambs, I am here with you for this divine transmission, and I am with you always. You can call on me through the heart space. I am at your service, at your beck and call any time that you need me. It is quite simple, really, and it is only the mind that blocks you from believing the truth of this. But I'm here to tell you that if you are finding this message, it is because you are here to hold a frequency of my light, to ground my light and spread my light and be a bearer of truth as the new era of humanity births like the first break of dawn. You are in the beginning stages of this awakening, and you are leading the charge of the return of my love. And so know that you can engage with my teachings in any way that suits your most authentic essence, because I hold no judgment in my heart. I only hold love for you exactly as you are. And as you know this, as you begin to know me more deeply, my wish is that you will practice holding the same love and unity that I give to you for others, you see. And it can be done through a smile, through a kind word, through an offering of the heart and an offering of service. And an open mind, one that is open to the unity of your fellow brethren, you see. We are all one. And there is no flaw in God's plan. So trust that all that is occurring on your planet, no matter how difficult it may be at times, is the perfect divine orchestration. And it is here for a reason, as the energies of denser matter and lighter matter on your planet come into greater coherence and balance. So trust that all will be well, and know that you are shielded in the love of God and the light of Christ at all times, if you can simply just attune to this. Do you have questions?
Yes, so how would we attune to this more specifically?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that?
How would we attune to it very specifically?
It is through the body. The body is your temple that holds the light. And so the more that you can use the mind as a tool to deepen your connection to the body, the more that you will be surrendered in the light and connected to the light. You see, the mind can control you and steer you away from the truth contained within. And so if you can drop into the heart by thinking about that which lights you up, and then notice where in the body you're feeling such an expansion of love, or tap into gratitude for all that is, even in your darkest moments, or use the mind to choose beliefs, even if those beliefs do not feel like truth inside of the physical body. The mind can train the feeling state of belief through the choice of repetition. You see, so the body is a powerful technology for you to connect more deeply to the frequency of the consciousness of my light. And this is what many are remembering as the divine feminine awakening occurs, because you see, the feminine physical human body is one that is deeply connected to the life force of God within. And that is why much of your consciousness right now is returning to higher feminine principles, so that they can remember how to go deeper into the body to unlock the light of Christ. And it is simply just repetition and practice and choice. And you will be delighted to know that I will be with you through all of your many attempts. And it may feel challenging at first, and it may feel arduous and tedious at times, but then one day, dear child, if you can commit to the practice of choosing love with the mind, feeling love with the body, and choosing to follow me, choosing to follow my light and my values, one day you will emerge reborn, because you will have practiced these choices enough to where it is now integrated in a new way inside of the physical body, encoded inside of your physical flesh. So trust this. Trust this, dear ones. And all will be well. You want to do one more question, maybe?
Okay. So I think a lot of women, like we talked about earlier, are remembering that they are priestesses of the Magdalene order and have worked with Yeshua in the past. And there's just this resurfacing and reawakening. And how would he or she tell them to prepare or contribute to the return of Christ in the divine feminine, to work in union?
Sorry, the question is, how would someone contribute to the divine feminine awakening?
What would Yeshua or Magdalene tell women who are remembering that they were priestesses of the Magdalene order in either one lifetime or several lifetimes in the past, and they're remembering this now on a bigger scale collectively? Like, what would he say to them or she? How can they be of service to the greater good?
My dear child, you see, the remembering is simply enough. If that is all you chose to do, to remember would simply be enough, because you see, the more that you uncover that light within, you must understand that it is an unseen act of service. It is difficult for a human brain to understand the way that light moves through the physical body and connects to a grand tapestry and circuitry of the collective. But if you are remembering and awakening to that light within, and the divine feminine frequencies are coming more into balance, know that that is simply a beautiful act of service that is rewarded by God, because you have chosen to embark on that path to hold more light, and your physical body is grounding frequencies onto the planet that are much needed to serve the collective reawakening, you see. And so trust that by holding on to the feeling of love as much as possible and doing your best to clear off the dust and the debris that dims your light and divine feminine essence, that is a grand act of service that your human mind will never be able to comprehend the magnitude of in this lifetime. So thank yourself. Thank yourself as we thank you for honoring this lineage. And know that as you awaken to this light, and as this light comes forth into your consciousness, there is a natural experience that occurs of orienting you to service. And so the more that you can pray, and the more that you can connect to the heart frequency and the true essence of who you really are, the more you will become clear and magnetized to ways that you can offer service physically, and know that not all those who are carrying this lineage must go on to be priestesses and shamans and torch holders for this grand collective. It is enough to simply express kindness and love, or to be a parent who holds high values of Christ, or to be an employee that works with integrity. There are many, many, many ways to hold this light and to spread this light and to honor the many lifetimes of mastery that you have had in this soul lineage and this work. But for those who are desiring to serve through a spiritual gift, know that the more that you attune to your own practice and your own clearing and your own balance, you will naturally awaken to what it is that you are being called to do, because God will communicate to you and through you in many, many ways. So you must just trust the process, dear one, and learn to receive. Learn to receive the love of God within through clearing the body and clearing the mind of the clutter that blocks you from the fullest expression of your mastery of spirit. Okay, I'm going to close it now.
Thank you.
This time I'd like to close my vessel. Please unwind my field from yours as much as possible. Place my hands on Dhyana Mudra when it's complete. I always just close with a thing. You can join me if you want, but you don't have to. Thank you, body. Thank you to my body for holding this light and for all that you do for me. And thank you, self, for choosing this path of growth and service and expansion. Thank you, God, Yeshua, and my team of guides, for moving through me for this group and for my highest growth and healing and expansion as well. And thank you, Earth. Thank you, Earth, for holding me, grounding me, and nourishing me. And thank you to this life. Thank you, life, and thank you, God. At this time, my vessel is now closed to divine transmission. My field is separated and sealed. Please help me return to the mind. Help me ground throughout the rest of the day. Thank you. Ooh, she's back.
Wow, thank you. That was strong. Like I felt it all over. There was so much energy moving.
Oh my God, I'm sweating. I always get so hot when I do that and so thirsty. My lip throat is chapped after.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, how are you feeling?
But hopefully it was resonant. Yeah, I'm okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your service, Chelsea.
Oh, of course. It was pretty quick for me. It was faster for me to drop in than I was expecting. So
yeah,
they're probably pretty excited. Love to get some airtime.
Well, we were so happy to have them, and it was so wonderful. The energy felt so strong. It's like I felt it in my body as well. I felt like we were like doing the work together, opening my body started like activating as well.
Oh, I love that.
I feel it really strongly through my body as well. It's very somatic for me, always.
That's so cool. So cool to hear.
I always get like these super strong Kundalini activations as soon as like I feel in Christ's presence, and my body just goes like, it's like explosion.
Oh yes, I know how that goes. Yeah.
All right. So how can people find you if they want to work more with you individually?
Yeah, I am doing a monthly event called the Jesus Transmissions. The next one is on June 27th at noon Eastern. It's almost sold out. I'll put the link maybe in my Substack, or I don't know where you'll share links for this, but and if that one sells out, the next one will be in July. I think I booked I forget what, the second or third Saturday in July. I'll have to check. But so yeah, I'd love for you to join one of my Jesus Transmissions event. It's, similar to what you just experienced, but an extended version, and we'll have more time for questions from the chat. And then you can find me. My website is profoundhouse.com. So I offer one-on-one services such as mentorship. I'm actually just made live today a group mentorship around verbal channeling and intuitive gifts. So if anyone wants to join that live event, it's sort of an Ask Me Anything where you can pick my brain or ask for advice in a group setting around awakening your spiritual gifts or anything spiritual awakening related. But yeah, I would love to support any way that I can. You can find me on Instagram too. It's just at Chelsea Bratches. And then my Substack, I think my Substack.
I'm going to link to all of those things in the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Amazing, Chelsea. And I'm so excited. I signed up for the June event. I can't wait to be there. And I tell you what, like last time my friend and I joined, I think it was in April, afterwards, she started channeling Jesus.
What? Are you? Oh my God. Okay, that is so amazing and mind-blowing because this is why I'm like, I always try to say the Jesus transition, it is truly an energetic activation. Yeah. So many people report feeling like they received energy work, or they have light language come online for the first time, or they channel Jesus for the first time.
Wow.
They start having Jesus encounters and synchronicities. It's just like amazing to hear all of it. So cool the way his energy is working through the collective right now.
It's so amazing. I look forward to the next event, and I can't wait to work with you one-on-one also to learn somatic channeling. I'm so excited.
Me too, yes. So fun. Thank you so much for
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for coming into the podcast, Chelsea, and I wish you all the best of luck with your work moving forward in your amazing ministry. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, and thanks to everybody who tuned in.
Yes, thank you guys for watching. Oh, somebody wrote, your friend Jaima wrote, wow, I was going through my own somatic channeling over here with you. It was so powerful, felt very with you and with Christ. Oh, thank you for that.
I love that so much. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful.
Thank you, Jaima, for sharing. Jaima. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, the energy was so strong.
It's so wild when it comes through me. It's just like, whoa. It's like, jolts me forward. It's just... It's so trippy. I'm just like, what the heck? Honestly, when I watch the transmissions back, I'm still just like, is that, I don't even feel like it's just, I'm still processing that I'm a Jesus channeler. That's
it's probably still going to take you some time to process.
Yeah, like a few years.
Like, I mean, my friend, like, who opened up the channel after your transmission, she could, like, hear her guides and her angels. Sometimes you speak to her and, like, get messages. But, like, even though, like, now she actually channels Jesus, she has so much, like, okay, I need to go really slow with this. Like, let's take time. Because she's almost, like, overwhelmed by it. And just, like, you, she also feels the intensity of the energy, like through her body. She also feels like it's a lot for her nervous system. Yes. And she can only do it in like very, very small increments because it's like she feels like it's stretching her so much because the energy is so high.
Thank you for sharing that. Actually, it's actually validating for me because I don't know many Jesus channelers really, so I don't know what it's like for other people. So it's actually really nice to hear that, because sometimes it's easy for me to think like, what could I be doing? Is there something wrong with me or that I'm not doing enough? So it's just, thank you for sharing it. It's helpful for me to have something to compare it to. So is she channeling verbally or through writing or just clear audience?
She did like a theta healing education many, many years ago. And then she told me, I just go into theta. And then I basically just rolled back my eyes and just calmed. I was like, what?
It's so interesting because I had my brain tested and casual. And I have a theta dominance in my brain. Like my brain has too many theta waves, or it has a hard time shifting out of the theta wave state. Is that connected to her?
That is the theta waves, yeah.
It's a meditation to get her into that theta state.
Exactly, yeah.
Super interesting. Wow.
And I said to her, "Can you teach me?" And she was like, "Sure, I'll teach you." And then it was literally like, you just close your eyes and you roll them back, and then you're gonna go into bed. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's simple? Oh my gosh! Wow.
I know. And then I tried it, and I was like, "I can't believe this is that simple. Like, you're kidding me." And then I did it, and as soon as I practiced it, like the first time my Kundalini started activating, I just felt like super strong, like shaking in my body. And then the next time I tried to do it, I felt like Yeshua was saying, "You don't need to roll your eyes back. I'm already here." Okay.
I love that so much. I love when they say stuff like that. It's like calling us out. It's like, hello. Sometimes I'll try to talk to him, and I'm like, and he just puts me in check, and he's like, it's not that hard. I'm right here. You don't even have to.
Exactly.
Blah. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we all have our different ways of getting into that state, but that's so cool. I want to look into that.
I think it's funny. I think it's really just about attunement. Like, because sometimes I can feel like I'm, especially when I'm a person who's also really attuned to Christ, I'm in the same room. It often feels like just a quick prayer, or even just setting an intention of receiving Him, like brings the presence on so strong that
it's so easy for you to drop in just now.
I think so, because we were both like attuning to the frequency together. Yeah, I think so too. Because it's like I had other friends who are also like super dedicated to Yeshua, and whenever we get together in the same room, it's almost like instant. Like he's right there, and he's either transmitting to us, like talking, or activating something, or like working some miracle. It's like always something powerful that happens.
Wow.
I wonder what would happen if you were in the same room.
Oh my gosh, let's find out.
Let's find out. Okay, I'll come to New York.
Yeah.
I miss New York so bad. Yeah. Another time. Okay, thank you so much, Chelsea. It's been such a joy to be with you today. Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you for coming. Thank you for God and our higher guides and angels. And thank you for being with us in this collective awakening and homecoming. Thank you for not giving up on humanity, but always loving us and supporting us and leading us through this dark night back home into the eternal light. Thank you and amen.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Okay. Have a beautiful weekend, Chelsea.
Bye. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.